Hey Ari,
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I love your beautiful New York view in the back.
Yes, we're a little close up with our neighbors here.
No, I'm from New York. I'm in LA at the moment, but that is the place I call home. So
That's so funny.
yeah. So I'm so excited to be sitting down with you today. I'm a personal big fan of your Instagram.
Oh, thank
So
you.
thank you so much for coming on and joining us.
I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, so for everyone who's tuning in for the first time, um, just to tell you a little bit more about this series, this is the Women Who Do series, and we started this with Anne Klein really to uphold my grandmother's legacy. She was a trailblazer and a woman who could accomplish absolutely anything. So during these, wild, uncertain, crazy times, her message holds stronger than truly ever before. So here we are today honoring incredible women like Ari who are really just paving the path and making a huge change in, women's careers and culture today. So Ari, thank you so much for being here and joining us.
Absolutely.
Um, so Ari, for anyone from the Anne Klein side, I would love to just have you, introduce yourself. I said a couple things before you hopped on, but would love it to come from the chef herself.
Yeah, so I am a food photographer, food content creator, former New York City chef. I currently work from home, which is fantastic, so I can sort of shoot anywhere. But prior to doing this, like I said, I was working in fine dining restaurants in New York City after transitioning from a completely different career. But it was sort of like the way you speak about your grandmother. I wanted something that I could really own, something that, was a passion project, and to be able to turn something that you truly love into a profitable career, that's kind of the dream.
Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, I wake up every day excited to get in my kitchen and cook, and to really design a career that fits my life and my passion.
One thing that I thought was just so interesting and incredible was that you left a PhD program to kind of pursue your love for a culinary career. Like, what was that
Yeah.
transition like? Like, what happened there?
It was crazy. It was crazy. I went straight from college into grad school. I, followed that path where there were no breaks in between. You work hard, you just keep climbing up that ladder. And it turns out I really didn't like research and writing papers. I liked teaching, but I didn't like that so much. So I left the PhD program, moved to New York City because I was in Massachusetts, and I started staging at restaurants. And so for anyone not familiar with like that terminology, I basically walked into my favorite restaurant in New York City with no experience whatsoever. And I was like, "Hi, will you teach me? Can I work here for
Wow.
pennies?" And of course, no one is going to say no to essentially free labor in the restaurant industry. And so it was just over the course of a few months, I had these really wonderful chefs mold me and teach me how to work in restaurants without really needing to go to culinary school. And it was really only possible because my boyfriend, fiance, now husband, was able to support me during that time. And it's certainly a risk to say, well, I'm just not going to earn money for a while and work my way up. But for what I do now, I feel like it gives me a leg up. I have a little bit of street cred. Like I worked in fine dining Michelin starred restaurants, and so I carry that confidence with me, and it helps um, shape the recipes that I develop today. And by the way, working in restaurants is grueling. It is horrible. It is truly horrible.
I just read Kitchen Confidential, so this is
Oh
all like
gosh.
really topical.
Yeah. I mean, just a total whirlwind. that book in particular shows a whole other side of it. But if you're from New York City, you're familiar with like Restaurant Week.
Yes.
So, okay, so Restaurant Week, who doesn't look forward to that in New York? You can, for anyone who doesn't know, you can get a really stellar meal at some fine dining restaurants for a fraction of the cost that you normally would. And I just remember working at Perry Street, John George's restaurant, during
Mm.
winter restaurant week. And literally, I would cry after service. It was so, so bad. That and Sunday brunch, it was like, it was horrible.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah.
So like from coming from, working in the kitchen to now running this incredible like social platform, what did like that next transition look like?
Um, there were quite a few bumps along the way, but really what it came down to was I made the decision to leave the restaurant industry because as much as I love food and cooking, that's really where my heart is. It was not conducive to the lifestyle I wanted with the late hours, grueling environment. Even though I had fantastic chefs, it was just, it was not, it wasn't how I envisioned my life. So I took a couple steps back, ended up getting married, having kids, even though thousands of women around the world continue to work in restaurants while they are pregnant and having children. I took a step back. And this was kind of a way for me to figure out how I could still pursue food and wine, which I'm so passionate about, in a way that I could stay home and be with my children because my husband commutes into the city for work. And for our family, that was the reality. And I think I read probably a dozen books on different careers that you could pursue in the food industry. For a while, I wanted to be like a New York Times restaurant critic. And then I think like Sam Sifton came along and I was like, I could never be that mean. Like, I just couldn't. So I picked up a camera and I took a couple classes and I read a few more books and entirely self-taught in that way. I just sort of had this passion for cooking and had previously worked in restaurants. And I was like, I don't know, let's see if I can maybe make money. And so my business is now 3.5, almost 4 years old. And it's just been this amazing climb. Like each year, it's just surpassed the goals from before. And God, I'm just so proud. I'm so happy and so proud every day.
That's incredible. You should be. I mean, your photographs are beautiful. I can't believe
Thank
you
you.
are self-taught.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of, well, I'm sure two parts to this question. Did you like what was your culinary like? How did you? Everyone was cooking, for better lack of words, during quarantine.
Yeah.
Like, was this like a creative like explosion for you in the kitchen?
Um, that's a really great question. It was kind of a mix. So I remember March, April of last year, everyone in my community who I'll call like coworkers, fellow content creators who are in the food niche, everyone was like, we got to make pantry staples, like grab your beans, grab your pasta, grab all these things. But then you'd go to the store and it was all sold out. So um, I think that quarantine over the last year has sparked a joy in people that wasn't there before. So personally, as someone who cooks all the time, I love to go out to restaurants. I will happily take any night off, get a babysitter, and leave my kids and go somewhere to eat just because. But people couldn't do that. And so from my perspective, it was just it fits so neatly into my brand. I do elevated meals at home that are kind of restaurant quality because that's what I like to eat. That's what I like to cook. And it was this opportunity to say, you can't go to a restaurant anyway. Why don't you make that pan-seared duck breast at home? Like, I'll show you how. And so it just worked really well for me to continue on with those elevated meals. But yeah, I
Yeah.
feel very inspired that everyone wants to cook now.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm so fortunate. My husband, like, never was in the kitchen, and now he like cooks me these amazing meals like 5 days a week. So
That's
it is the best
fantastic.
thing that ever happened to my own
Yeah,
eating
I mean,
schedule.
My husband used to not cook any nights a week, maybe on a weekend, because his commute from New York was rough. We actually just moved from Connecticut not long ago, and since quarantine, it was just too much. I was like, oh no, you need to take one night a week where you are cooking. And so he has for the last 15, 16 months, and I would not say that it sparks joy for him, but he does it, and that's what matters.
That's what counts.
Yeah.
Um, so I know, you must be crazy busy with three kids. What are some like great, healthy, quick recipes for someone that's busy and might not be the most skilled in the kitchen?
Um, so one thing that I don't know if this is normal for kids to like or if it's just because my kids see it so much, but usually every Friday after work, make myself a drink or pour a glass of wine, and whatever remnants I have from the week, I'll make like a charcuterie board. And so cheeses and meats and whatnot, and my kids love it. But during after that, I have all these leftover nuts and cheese and dried fruit and things like that. So I'll take all of them and mix them together, and then there's sort of like a mix for my kids to grab. But honestly, I mean, even though I'm over here cooking fancy meals or what I consider to be, elevated meals, out of three children, I have one child who will eat literally anything. She loves food. And the other two, my oldest will only eat like cheeseburgers and pizza. He's like such a typical child. It, I I assume that he will grow out of it, but I mean, it's the same as any other kid. They eat fruit and cheese sticks and anything that's portable that they can grab, granola bars. I just let them have it. Their kids are so active and running around. It's fine.
Yeah. But for yourself, like when you're kind of prepping, when you are, between a photo shoot and um, helping your kids, like what's like a quick lunch that you make for yourself?
Oh gosh. If I eat lunch, because on shoot days, I'm usually just like snacking from all the
Oh,
different
your
things,
food. Yeah.
all my food. I would say that I really do things that are very, very, very light and healthy for lunch because I'm snacking on shoot food. So I might take like hard boiled eggs and serve them with like just hard or soft boiled eggs, cut them up and do like smoked salmon and everything bagel seasoning as a light lunch or um, avocado toast or like eggs. I try to do like a really, really, really light lunch. But more often than not, I'm the person who really does plan my lunches in advance. So I will grill up a bunch of vegetables and grill up chicken and then eat that for lunch for like 3 or 4 days, just so that I'm not thinking about it. Um, but for all of the food that we end up eating in this house, we try to keep Monday through Friday like pared down and a little bit healthier so that on the weekend it's like, all right, we're gonna get a pizza, we're gonna do whatever and just feel great about it.
Yeah. And I'd say like meal prepping is something that I very much try to integrate into my life, but I often find that I'm just like doing it wrong, or the things that like I thought I would want to eat, I then get to the day I'm like, I really don't want this. Like, do you have any recommendations for meal prepping, how to do it effectively, when to do it, how much to buy?
Yeah, I would say step one is find a partner who doesn't mind leftovers if you don't. My husband will eat anything for like 10 days and I'm sick of it after 2 or 3. Um, Meal prepping is really great in theory, but it's really only good if you have the time. And as a full-time working mom, dad, single parent, no kids. Like it's just, if you have a social life, it's hard to find that time. So we're really flexible with it and understanding in the sense that when we can, we do it. And when we can't, then we try to have healthy food in the house to make life easier. So one thing that is helpful for me is even if I don't have a few hours on a Sunday or a Monday to meal prep, I will just try and in the evening when I have 15 or 20 minutes before I wash dishes, cut up an onion, chop some broccoli, and put it in a container for the next day. So even if I haven't prepped the whole meal, by the time dinner rolls around the next day, I'm like, oh, my broccoli is chopped. Let's just roast it. And it's like little baby steps. It doesn't have to be a full, like, hours long thing.
Yeah. And a lot of these are just like my personal questions because I'm pretty challenged in the kitchen, I will admit. um, for something like broccoli, or like, I'd say the thing I'm always so impressed about when either other people cook for me who just like know what they're doing, or I go to a restaurant, um, I'm always just like so shocked how they can make something so simple like broccoli like taste incredible. Whereas
Yeah.
when I make it, it's kind of just like bland and sad.
I feel like we
So
need to do a walkthrough on broccoli. It's just such an easy vegetable. You got this.
like, what are some seasoning, like some easy like dips, throw in things that are like healthy and great to just make food, healthy food especially, like taste better?
I'm a purist when it comes to things like vegetables. I think that nothing tastes better than a simple roasted vegetable. And so the trick is if you're roasting something, and it's not even a trick. If you're roasting something, your oven temperature should be above 400 degrees. If it's under, you're baking. So if you
Mhm.
want to do broccoli, you just go above that. So I would say 425 is a great temperature. You for roasting of any vegetables, for me, it's olive oil and kosher salt and a good amount of both. And that is it. If you want to add flavors to it, if you want to add a sauce, you do all of that when it comes out of the oven. And so you just have the base of like a really solid, delicious roasted vegetable that you don't need a sauce, but you could pair it with any homemade or store-bought dressing. But for me, it's the basics of like getting the vegetable really delicious the first go round, and then if that's it.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
I think you need
definitely
to give
wasn't.
broccoli another try. Cut the florets thinner.
Yeah, I recently, for health reasons, switched to a keto diet.
Okay.
So I've been like exploring just a whole new world of like how, just dietary restrictions.
Yeah.
But it's great to like really understand how to make simple, healthy vegetables
Yes.
uh, taste amazing and not be boring.
Do you feel a difference on the keto diet?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's
Oh,
incredible. Like I this is gonna make your heart literally just like cry.
oh
A
no.
couple of years ago, I developed a garlic and onion allergy.
Oh no.
So, as you know, garlic and onion is in legitimately everything.
Everything.
So I just like I like love eating out. I love going to restaurants. So I start every experience now with like, I'm really sorry, like
Oh
that
gosh.
being so difficult. But for keto has like massively helped. Um, just like put my stomach back into balance, and I honestly feel better than I ever have before on it.
That's amazing. I mean the garlic and onion thing is sad mostly because you know that you probably liked it in the past, but
Oh, I used to eat roasted garlic, like
oh
literally. It's like the
my
weirdest
goodness.
thing.
I
And
would
then
also
I,
sort of think that roasted and raw have a different effect on your stomach and your body, but oh man, to eliminate it altogether is sad.
I know.
But you do what you got to do, and health comes
Yeah.
first.
Yeah. Um, so what would you say is like one ingredient in your kitchen that you just like could not live without?
Kosher salt.
Kosher salt.
Kosher salt, it's the one thing that I mean, I season literally everything. Like every single thing gets seasoned with salt. So if I had to go to a desert island and, catch my own fish and cook it, I would need salt.
Great. No, I mean, I've been told even like I think one of the things I've been speaking through with the specialist who's been helping me transition into keto is like the common misconceptions around salt. And especially for active people, like it's so important to have salt in your diet if you're drinking a
Yeah.
lot of water. Um, so I'm the salt queen. I salt everything. I'm with you.
Everything, everything. But speaking of water intake, I just bought this water bottle the other day. It's like one of those giant 64 or 70. They like, wow, that I am making sure that I get that in every day. So you've just reaffirmed that I can season my food with salt with abandon because I got my water done.
I'm not gonna lie. Ari, I bought one of those and I think I like ran it through the dishwasher and it like melted. And then
Oh
it
no.
was, I gave up on it. But it was great while it lasted. It was like really helping me keep on top of my water
Yes.
intake.
I didn't realize how much I was not drinking until I stared at that and I was like, wow, it's 11 a.m. We got to go.
um, so I'd say like one question, you have like all these incredible meals. Is there like one go-to or favorite that you always come back to that just like holds a special place in your home, your heart, and the kitchen?
Um, Favorite dish to make?
Yeah.
I would say there is one recipe on my site. It's called crispy pan seared salmon with a lemon Parmesan cream sauce. It is quite possibly keto friendly because it's coconut milk and Parmesan and mascarpone. That's like all you can do cheese, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All kinds of cheeses. Yeah. I think that that's the dish that I have probably served to every family member, every friend. It's like a cozy, comforting dish. I would not say that it's like, oh, it's Italian, oh, it's French. No, it's just like this yummy meal that you'd get at a restaurant, and it's cozy and delicious. And I don't know. It's the dish I make
Ooh.
for everyone.
I actually have some salmon in my fridge right now from the farmer's market.
There you go.
So
Dinner done.
maybe I'll make that tonight.
There you go.
um, I'm just looking at some of the questions that we have coming in,
Sure.
and I want to get to some of those. Um, let's see, so many good ones. So, um, hard to pick. Um, okay, so Mariah is asking, um, what do you usually pair? How do you pair wine with food? Any suggestions on that?
Uh, yeah, so that I definitely am not, I don't have a certification, I don't have a background in that, but for me, what has worked in reading about wine and really just experimenting and pairing things is to match acidity. So if you have a really acidic dish, like any pasta or seafood that has a lot of lemon, then you want to match that with a pretty acidic wine. And if you are eating a big steak, you want a big bold red wine that can stand up to it. So I usually look at something in terms of acidity and try to match that off of the flavors of a dish that I'm creating or eating, just eating out and go from there.
Is wine usually your drink of choice?
I love wine. I am like on this sort of healthier kick now. Like I said, Monday through Friday, I'm trying to rein it in a little so I can enjoy on the weekend. And I just love a glass of wine every night with my dinner. I love
I'm
the
with
way
you.
that food and wine pair together. It doesn't have to be a whole bottle, but like I just love the way they work together. I'm a wine
Yeah,
girl.
no, that was like one thing I was told to cut out, and I was just like, you know what? Life's too short to not have wine in my life.
Well, wait, but keto, so I don't know if I'm allowed to like name plug anything, but there's a company that I buy wine from that is all natural wines, like all organic
Oh,
natural wines, and they're keto friendly. And it's been
oh,
a really,
amazing.
yeah, so I can share that with you later if it's
Oh
not
my
okay
God,
to
yes,
name.
please.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's been a great experience. Natural wine is like this whole other world um, to like learn about. It's very distinct, but anyway, I could give you the whole spiel later. But my best friend's husband is keto, and I was like, oh, you got to get these because you can drink them guilt free. So
Oh, well, I will definitely text you for that info. But I've been getting super into natural wines and like love orange wine. There's been so many in LA, so many like great little wine bars popping up that like solely serve natural wines, and you feel so much better after drinking it. And you can
yeah,
really feel the difference too when you like switch. It's kind of crazy.
yeah, we're at this place where we do a little bit of both. So I don't know if I'm getting the full effect of the natural wine, but I've been loving learning more about them.
Yeah. Okay, well, this conversation is to be continued. Um, Ari, thank you so much for your time today.
Absolutely. This was
Yeah,
wonderful.
It was awesome talking to you. I think I have Himalayan salt in my kitchen, but I'm gonna go out and get some kosher salt.
Got to have that
Um,
kosher salt.
and fire up that oven to 400.
Yes, there you go.
And
You got
I'll
this.
take I'll take some photos for you of my salmon. The plating might not be up to par, but I'm gonna
I
do my
believe
best.
in you. You got this.
All right. Thank you everyone for jumping on today and joining Ari and I. Make sure that you join us next month on July 21st. We are going to be covering the opening ceremony day of the Olympics.
Mm.
And I'll be talking to NBC stylist Amy Acton. She's going to be dressing some incredible talent in Anne Klein. So we're really excited and I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Thank you again, Amy. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Bye.